What's up guys, Johnny May here and welcome to this week's quick tip where I'm going to teach you what I think is the happiest chord progression of all time. And I love this chord progression, I love to improvise over it. You truly can play this chord progression endlessly and it is so much fun. So in today's lesson, I'm not only going to show you the chord progression, but I'm going to show you 3 different bass lines depending on your playing level. So if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, I'll teach you a bass line. And then I'm going to teach you 3 different improvisation techniques in the right hand using one of my favorite scales. It's going to be a ton of fun. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, first I'm going to show you the chord progression, then I'll show you these 3 left-hand bass lines depending on your playing level, then we'll talk about the right-hand scale, and then I'll show you the 3 right-hand improvisation techniques. All right, the chord progression is really simple. I call it the Happy Monday chord progression, and it goes like this. Really, really simple, okay? So if you're a little more on the intermediate or advanced side and you're thinking, Johnny, yeah, this is too basic of chords, you can do a lot with these chords by improvising in the right hand, okay? So you don't need like a really complex chord progression to create happy music at the piano, okay? So once more, it's like a C chord, and then we're doing like a C over E, it's like a first inversion C, and then we've got an F major, and then we've got a G major. Okay, so like a 4 chord to a 5 chord, really basic. All right, next I'm going to show you these 3 bass lines, but before we do this, if you're enjoying the video, please hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. All right, so for the bass lines, if you're a little bit more on the beginner side, I recommend this bass line. It is so simple. Just like that, okay? Even if you are brand new to the piano, you should be able to play this bass line, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the C twice, the E twice, the F twice, and the G twice, okay? It's that simple, and then it repeats, okay? Now the rhythm kind of matters here. It goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so if you're a little more in the beginner, practice that bass line. You want to get it nice and smooth, nice and solid in your playing. If you're a little more on the intermediate side, I like to play it like this. Okay, for this bass line, you get a little bit more movement. It's really fun. I think this is my preferred bass line. For this one, I'm just going octaves on the C. See that? So 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then we go to the E, and we do the same kind of pattern, right? E, C, E, okay? And then the same thing on the F, okay? And then the G. Does that make sense? So you're using the C kind of as like a pivot note, okay? And for the rhythm, this really matters. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, I love this bass line. It's a great intermediate bass line. Now, if you're a little more on the advanced side and you want something that really kind of moves you along, okay, notice for this bass line, it's kind of driving a little bit more. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's because we're using 8th notes. We're really hitting a lot more of the beats here. So for this one, we're going C, 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 D sharp, and then we go to our E, and for this one we go E, E, C, E, and then for the F, 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 C, F sharp. This is like a little lower neighbor to the G. It kind of leads us to the G, and then we go G, G, C, G. You see the pattern here? C, C, E, D sharp to the E, same pattern. E is a lower neighbor to the F. F sharp is a lower neighbor to the G. And then I come back down, G, C. Okay? So this pattern, even though I actually call it an advanced pattern, it's actually not that hard to play. Even if you're a little more on the beginner side, you should be able to play this. It's not too bad. All right, let's play these bass lines with the included backing track, and then I'll show you the right-hand improvisation techniques. And I'm going to play all 3 bass lines just so you can see what it sounds like with the backing track. Here we go. Here we go. Pretty simple. simple. That's the beginner. Let's do intermediate. And advanced. By the way, I wanted to mention that you can download this backing track. You can also download and print the lesson sheet music that you're seeing up on the top left of your screen. And you can change the key of this entire lesson with the click of one button with our smart sheet music. So I'll put a link to all of that below. All right, you ready for the most exciting part of this lesson? I'm going to show you how to improvise over this chord progression, and it is so much fun. Okay, lots of really cool techniques that you can use over this chord progression. So the first thing I want to talk about is my favorite scale to use to improvise over this chord progression. And for that matter, this is probably my favorite scale to use on almost any chord progression. It's called the major blues scale. I also call it the gospel scale. It's a very simple 6-note scale. We're going to start on C. We're going to go D. We're going to go D sharp. Very simple. Thumb under to the E. And then we go G to the A. 6-note scale, but it's an amazing scale. You can do a lot with it. Okay, when I was just improvising, I was pretty much using all of the notes from the major blues scale. So it is a very important scale to know if you want to improvise on a variety of chord progressions. So make sure the scale is comfortably in your fingers. I would just practice it up to the C. Get nice and comfortable with it. And once you're feeling good, maybe go up 2 octaves. Maybe go up to the C, but instead of going pinky on the C, go thumb, and then you can play another octave. Okay? And so the key here is to speed it up, get nice and comfortable with this scale because, again, it is such an important scale. Now, you could play this chord progression and just jam with this scale. Okay? But you want to learn some techniques that you can use with your scale. And so I'm going to show you 3 amazing techniques that you can use with your major blues scale. It's gonna be a lot of fun. First technique is the 8th note technique. And for 8th notes, you're primarily playing 1 and 2 and 1. Okay, basically I'm hitting 1 and 2 and, but I'm trying to play little lines where I have a start point and an end point. So a great way to practice this is just lay down a bass line. If you're a little more on the beginner side, you can keep it really simple. You can go C, E, F. That's totally cool. You can play half notes. 1, 2, 3, or if you're wanting to add some rhythm, you can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Or if you're intermediate, or advanced, you pick the bass line that you want. Okay, but the key here is to play little lines in your right hand. Notice how I leave little gaps. Ooh, I did a little slide there. We're going to talk about slides next. But you really want to get comfortable with 8th notes. All right, let's try this technique with the included backing track, and here we go. Here it is. All right, before I teach you technique number 2, if you're enjoying this lesson and you want to do a deep dive on this chord progression, you can learn a lot more about this progression, different ways of playing bass lines, different improvisational techniques, ways that you can fill in the right hand, add some chord pops. It's called our Happy Monday chord progression. I'll put a link to that course below. All right, technique number 2 is one of my favorite techniques. It is the slide technique, and it sounds like this. Slides are so cool because they give whatever you're playing a very bluesy kind of flavor. And so there are basically 3 slides that I love to use on my major blues scale. The first slide is on the 3rd the E, okay? And the way I like to slide, and I would encourage you to slide, is to grab the D sharp, or the E flat, with one finger, like your third finger, and slide up to the E. Now you can use two fingers, that's cool, but I like to use one finger to free up my index finger to play maybe some other type of line, okay? The second slide I like to use is a down slide to D. So it's kind of the opposite of the E slide. Instead of going up from the E flat, you go down to the D. Very simple. The last slide that I like to use is an A slide. Okay, the A down here. And you can use your index finger for this slide, okay? So 1, 2, 3, okay? Now you can also do double slides. You'll hear me do this a lot where I'll go up to the E, like with 2 notes. It's a double slide. Same on the A. You can do double slide like this, okay? I did make a little exercise here for you where it goes. Basically, I'm just sliding the E up to the G, sliding the D down, and then sliding the A, and sliding the D. Okay, it's great. It works really well. And again, you can keep the left hand more simple if you're a little more on the beginner side. All right, let's do a little improv using this technique. We'll do it once without the backing track, a little bit slower, and then we'll do it with the backing track. Okay, here it is, nice and slow. 3, 4. Okay, keep it simple. And let's try it with the backing track. Here it is. Start nice and simple. All right, before I teach you technique number 3, if you want to learn more techniques to improvise with your major blues scale, I teach you a ton more improvisational techniques in our major blues scale course. You'll learn slides, you'll learn turns, you'll learn rolls, harmonized slides, a ton of really great techniques. I'll put a link to that below. All right, technique number 3, if you want to take it up to an even higher level, I call this the root 5 harmony technique, and it sounds like this. Oh, I love this sound. It's hard to choose the sound that I like the best because each one is so different. Of course, you can mix and match them, which is what I ultimately like to do. Okay, so what is this technique, root 5 harmony? Well, the idea is when you're playing in the key of C, you have the root note, the C, and you have the 5, the 5th note of C. And what you can do is you can use either of these notes as a harmony note on top of your melody. So the one that I like to start with is the C, put that on the top, and then from there you can play little lines under it using your major blues scale. See what I did? I'm taking my major blues scale and I'm harmonizing the melody with the C or the root on top, okay? And it is a really cool sound. Sound great. And so you can mix your slides in. You can go, see what I'm doing there? Or double slide. You can also slide your E on the bottom like that. Okay, so this is the root harmony on the top. You can also do a 5 harmony on the top, the G. Okay, and so for this one, it might sound like this. So it's the exact same idea. I'm taking the notes of the major blues scale and I'm harmonizing them with the G on the top. And so if you're just starting with improvisation, build some little lines and you can start even adding in some slides. Right? You can do an up slide, you can do a down slide. They're both a lot of fun. All right, we'll do a little improvisation without the backing track, and then we'll do it at full tempo, okay? Here it is, nice and slowly. 2, 3, 4. There's my line. See what I'm doing? I'm trying to be really rhythmic with it and leave little gaps. It's a double slide, okay? A lot of fun. All right, let's go ahead and play this at full tempo with the backing track, and here it is. Here we go. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the lesson, please let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 1,000 step-by-step lessons for all playing levels, where you'll learn your favorite songs, styles, and how to improvise at the piano. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.